Juu nimeona wifi iko kwa ndio nimebai.
Hello, hello, good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on ISO 14001 for self and help. Welcome, Timothy. Welcome, Benjamin, Judy, Stella, Mudhoni, Catherine, CP Nduku, Esther. Welcome. We can wait for 4 minutes. Then we can start at 10:05 so that everyone can join before we officially start. So my name is Victor Magana. I'm an ISO consultant at ValueMax Consulting Limited. We deal with many standards including ISO 9001, ISO 27000, ISO 14000, and also ISO 22000. Yeah, so our moderator today is I. Then our speaker today will be Beatrice Modoni, also an ISO consultant at ValueMax Consulting Limited. And I also want to notify you that this webinar will be recorded and it will be shared on our platforms, including our YouTube channel. So watch out for that. Hello, Benjamin. Good morning too. So at this juncture, I'll be welcoming today's speaker, who is Beatrice Modoni, to take us through this insightful webinar on ISO 45001. So be ready to learn, and in case of any question, just put it in the chat box and we'll answer it during the Q&A session. Welcome, Beatrice.
Thank you so much, Victor, for your invitation. I hope I'm audible enough. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for attending our webinar. And our webinar today, as our moderator has informed you, will be about ISO 45001. So ISO 45001 is the Occupational Health and Safety Management System. And this is a very important standard. And I'm saying this is a very important standard to ensure that matters safety are well handled in an organization. And before I dive deep in the webinar, we all know that we have had various incidents that has happened in this country, even in the past years when it comes to occupational health and safety. We had a recent gas explosion, I think it was last year, but one where we had several casualties, and such incidences, we can say it's it may be due to laxity when it comes to occupational health and safety. We even have people who we have a company where a staff fell into a boiler, and after investigations were done, it was noted that the the rail that he was using in climbing in the boiler, it was not stable, it had not been maintained. And now this is where things like occupational health and safety come in to ensure that such incidences that even lead to death, lead to disabilities of employee, that do not occur. We have even where in a certain manufacturing farm we had leaking gas that was leaking from the organization, and after the gas leaked, it killed several employees. And unfortunately, even the emergency exits were blocked, they were not open, the fire extinguishers had not been serviced. And from these incidences, we can see that organizations have fallen back in terms of ensuring that employees are safe and secure in their working environment. So this is our agenda today. We are going to talk about what is ISO 45001, what are the clauses. We're going to go through the clauses. We have why implement ISO 45001. Then after the webinar, we are going to have a Q&A session. So I had said as I began this webinar, it's an occupational health and safety management system, which the main aim is to reduce the workplace risk, that with the examples that I have given, ensure that all employees are safe and ensure that the environment they're in is a good working environment. And when we talk about these the ISO standards, these standards are developed globally from an organization called International Organization of Standards. This is an organization that comes together with other stakeholders. They come up with these standards. And for the ISO 45001, we had the first version of the standard in 2018. And that's why we call it ISO 45001 2018. The same standard was revised, but they have not seen the need to change anything, so it still remains on 2018. In case any revision is done to the standard, it is going to change from ISO 45001 to the year that the revision has happened. That's why we can see the 2018 attached there. Then before we go further, I would like us to understand why accidents happen, especially in our working environment. We have one of the things that causes this accident to happen is lack of hazard identification and risk assessment. You will find a factory or a manufacturing firm is unable to identify, maybe if it's in case of wiring in the industry, maybe they are loose wiring, there are wires that are hanging loosely near machinery, and you can find that an employee may accidentally touch those live wires, resulting in an electric shock. So that is one of the reasons that some of these serious accidents happen. You find that the people in charge have deviated when it comes to risk assessment. And when it comes to risk assessment, is very, very important to be able to identify and mitigate the risks that are bound to happen in an organization. Then we have inadequate worker training and awareness. You will find that there is a new employee that has come in an organization, maybe if it's a construction site or a manufacturing firm, the employee has not been trained or inducted in how to use maybe a certain machine, or how to conduct him or herself in a certain way when it comes to occupational health and safety. You will find that such an employee who is not trained or inducted properly is going maybe is an employee who has been employed to be a machine operator, and maybe they have not been taken through on how to correctly use the machine. So you can see that in such a case, such an employee is going to go to the machine, maybe misuse it or handle it in a way that is not supposed to be handled, then the employee might even sustain very serious injury, cuts. Even we have seen, even in the news, employees who handle this very big machine, their hand has been cut accidentally. So when it comes to training, it's very important for new employees and even the existing employees to undergo such kind of training. We also have poor leadership commitment and safety culture. You can find that there are some organizations that where the top management and the management ignore complaints from employees. If it's a floor that is slippery or there's some leakages somewhere causing the floor to be very slippery, even in a warehouse, you can find that the management has been told about to repair those leakages, but no one is following up. No one is calling the fundi to repair those pipes and the leakages, and you find that workers can slip, somebody can break their leg or their arm. So that is one of the things. Then we have failure to maintain equipment and infrastructure. You can see this big organization that deal with machinery, maybe they are not servicing those machinery. If it's a forklift, if it's these machines that carry big loads, they're not being serviced in a regular basis, which can cause maybe injury. It can damage other properties. It can even crash maybe the shelves that they're using to store. So it is good for the organization to maintain those equipments. Then we have of lack of worker involvement. You find that a company may come up with a new procedure or something, a new design or a new process, but the workers have not been sensitized on how such a thing is done. So you find that such workers may get even injuries because of lack of the involvement in those safety processes, the new procedures that have been adopted. And you see that's why there are rampant accidents in these farms. Then we dive into the clauses, which is a very important aspect of today's discussion. We have this standard is structured in several clauses, and we have the 10 clauses, and these clauses follow the plan, do, check, act cycle. And this plan, do, and check cycle ensures that the way this standard operates, even as we go through the clauses, you're going to see that from clause 4 to clause 10, because clause 4 to clause 10 is the most important part of the standard. You will see that the standard fall under that. And when you talk about the first three clauses, yes, they are part of the standard, but when it comes to uh, the implementation, we focus on the clause 4 to clause 10. Then when we talk about this, before we go to the clauses, I would like you to understand what we mean by the plan, do, check cycle. When you talk about planning, in this case, in the occupational health and safety, this is whereby you identify the risks and set goals. You can have, you can decide to sit down if it's a management or if you are a departmental health or even an occupational health and safety manager. You sit down with the people who are concerned. You see if it's in a workplace, what are the hazards, what could go wrong at a particular place at this work. What are the legal requirements you need to meet? If it's to do with OSHA, what are we supposed to do as an organization? What objectives can we put in place? What do we want to achieve? If it's a company that, as I had said, that has leakages in terms of which cause slippery wet floors, you can decide to install, you can decide to repair those leakages, those leaking pipes, to ensure that that does not reoccur. You can decide to, if it's a floor itself is slippery in nature. You can decide to install even curb rules, or you can decide to install a floor that reduces a floor that ensures that even when the workers walk around, they are not sleeping all the time. Then we have the do part of the plan, do checked cycle. On the do part is now where you in simple terms, where you do what you have planned. Now at this point is implementing the safety measures that you have put. You put your plans into action. If it's much as training, you do training to employees. If it's awareness to employees, you do the awareness. And if it's a process that needs to improve, if you need to set new safety rules or rules on usage of a certain machinery or a certain equipment, now this is the point you do what you have planned. If it's at this point, if you don't have you need to, maybe there's a place that need to have a warning sign. It's at this point that you put the warning signs where appropriate. If it's a sign that people need before they enter a certain room, they need to wear, the employees need to wear PPEs, you put all that. Then we have on the check part, it's at this point now you monitor. You see these actions that we have implemented, are they working or are they not? Where do we need to change? If it's something that needs a little bit of change, this is where we need to change. If it's the accidents, the sleeping accidents that I've been talking about, have they increased after what we have done or have they reduced? It's at this point now that you check. If it's the safety rules that you have implemented, are the employees implementing the safety rules? Are they following those rules to the latter? Have the employees understood what is their role in ensuring their own health and safety in the organization? Then we have the act. It's at this point now in the act part, you can decide this is what we need to improve basing on what that is not working. Is at this point that you fix. If it's a certain process that you have seen, you have tried to implement it, but at that time it's not working, you can decide to fix, you can decide to change what is not working. And if it's the rules that you have placed, you can decide even to improve the rules further, to update those rules. If it's a certain policy governing the occupation safety of those workers, you can decide to update those policies, train further, and even ensure that employees are understanding what is their role in ensuring that those policies and the rules are being achieved as an organization. Then these are the clauses that we are going to focus in today's discussion. As I've said, this is clause 4 to clause 10. Then this is the first clause that you are going to talk about, which is clause 4, which talks about the context of the organization. It is at this point that organizations need to understand their internal and external context in related to health and safety. When it comes to internal matters that affect a manufacturing firm, a chemical firm, a firm that deals with machinery, a construction firm, they need to sit down and understand what are the internal factors affecting them. We can have things like attitude, the attitudes of the employee. Now, this is something like the organizational culture. What is the attitude of employees towards occupational health and safety? What values do we have, and what is our behavior when it comes to safety? You can find a company maybe prioritizes profits over safety. So you can find such a company, their culture is just we need more money, but they are not taking care of the employees. They ignore buying even the PPEs for the employees because their main aim is to make money. We'll even go to companies whereby an employee safety boots has worn out, the employee has been informing the management that they need a replacement of the safety boots, but the organization does not want to replace the safety boots for the employees. If it's PPEs, they are worn out, which they're exposing the employees to hazard. So we can say that is one of the internal factors that an organization can consider. If it's the work environment, how is it? Are there too much noise? Have the employees been given the equipment that they need to ensure that they are not getting affected in their ears? If it's the call centers, are employees getting stressed? Because even we have seen when it comes to call centers, people complain in terms of stress. And is the organization creating a good work environment for the employees? Then, when it comes to the external context, you sit down as management, as departmental heads, or people who are concerned. What are the external factors affecting us? Is it the legal and the regulatory issues? Because I know the government through OSHA is very strict on that. Are we able to meet the and comply with OSHA and NEMA safety standards? Now, those are some of the things as an organization you need to sit down and see how is it affecting the performance of your occupational health and safety. Then we have leadership. It's at this point that uh, the top management or the people who are in charge in decision making actively promote the occupational health and safety policies and ensure that they have integrated them with the overall strategy. So it is the responsibility of the top management or the leadership or the people who are making decisions on behalf of the company. They need to demonstrate good leadership qualities when it comes to setting occupational health and safety objectives. Are they providing the terms of resources that are required, even in terms of financial matters? Are they providing the money to buy those PPEs, to buy the things that are required to ensure that employees are safe? Are we able to do that? Are they engaging the employees in terms of making any decision, even those policies? Are they involving the employees in that? Then especially for the leadership, the people who are managing the organization, they need to be on the forefront in advocating for good safety practices for the organizations that they run. Then we can see if it's for a chemical manufacturing plant or any manufacturing plant, the top management should be at the forefront in organizing meetings, even if it's quarterly meetings, to see the objectives and the policies that we have created, are they working for us as an organization? Are all employees matters when it comes to safety addressed? Then also in conjunction with top management, they also need to ensure that there is employee participation and consultation when it comes to the safety measures. And if it's a new rule that has been put together, our employees in agreement, this is what happens to us when we are in the ground, we are in the working. This rule is good. And the safety measures that have been put, they are going to work for us. Workers, because they are the ones who are doing the actual job, they are the ones who mostly are exposed to those hazards. Have they been consulted? Have they been involved in making those decisions? Have they been called? Have the top management met with the employees? They asked their views and encourage them to participate in the occupational health and safety decision making processes. And the leaders must show a good examples to the employee, because if the leadership of the organization is not doing what is required, definitely the employees are going to also, they are going to be like, our employees, our supervisor is not following the rules, why should we follow? So it's good for the leadership to set a good pace for the employee to follow the safety measures that have been put. Then we have planning. I had also mentioned planning, the plan, do, check, act cycle. It's at this point that as an organization, you need to have a structured approach when it comes to occupational health and safety risk management. You need to have, you plan actions to address those risks. If it's a company, maybe if it's a company that deals with logistics, maybe they have identified during risk assessment that we have a lot of accidents that has happened. It's at this point they can set a target to reduce these accidents maybe by a certain percentage through safer driving practices, even the training, maintaining of those vehicles. And at this point, you need to, when you are setting these objectives, you need to set them using the smart way. This objective needs to be smart when you are setting them as during the planning phase. And also, when you are doing the risk assessment, you need to evaluate the likelihood of occurrence of these risks. Is it high? Is it medium? Is it low? So you need to sit down and see and categorize those risks and see which part that they fall. And as I had mentioned earlier, risk assessment is a very important aspect of ensuring that as an organization you have improved when it comes to matters of health and safety. Then we have support. When it comes to support, and support comes in several ways. As I have listed, we have support can come in form of resources. This is the financial resources that have been provided and the human resources. You can, at this point, you can see that when it comes to the human resources, you can find an organization has appointed an occupational health and safety person who understands those health and safety matters that need to be addressed. You can see if it's financial resources. Do we need to set a budget for more PPEs, budget to acquire things like the fire extinguishers, the smoke alarms, depending on what you are exposed to as an organization. Then we have competence. When an organization is hiring new people, they need to ensure that those employees are competent in terms of what their role entails. They must have the necessary training and skills to ensure that they perform are those tasks safely. If it's a farm, maybe it's a firm that deals with welding. Are those welders aware of what is their role? Have they been trained with the right skills to ensure that they are able to do their job well? Are those welders certified in what in the job that they are doing? Are they able to handle, if it's in a farm that deals with gas, the one like the one was in Ebakasi, are those people able to handle gas cylinder safely without causing anything? Those are some of the things that you need to consider when it comes to hiring new employees. Then we have awareness. Every employee in such an organization should be aware of the occupational health and safety, should be aware of their health and safety part. What part are they playing in terms of ensuring that the occupational health and safety performance of the organization have been improved in case of, let's say there is something that has happened, something like fire or any other in eventuality that may happen. Do we know what to do at this time? Do we know what to do as an employee to remove ourselves from harm's way? Are we aware that there are policies, that there are processes that the organization has been put in place and those processes should be followed? Those are some of the things that you need to consider when it comes to awareness. Then we have communication. When it comes to communication, an organization needs to have clear channels of communication. If it's maybe a firm such as a construction firm, which is very, very big, do they have notice board? Do they have safety briefings? Maybe even if it's once a week, what form of communication are you using? Many companies nowadays have resorted to WhatsApp group for updates. Are there such WhatsApp group? Is it email? So as an organization, we need to establish a way of communication. Then we have documentation. We have the safety procedures that are in place, the policies, the processes, and the procedures. Are there records to ensure that there is compliance is being done? We are continuously improving in the way we are doing things. If it's in case something has happened, are there incident reports that have happened? If it's the training that you have done for your employees, are there attendance sheets for those training that have been kept in a certain place? So you need to have a structured way of doing your documentation, which even can be easily retrieved by everyone. Then we have operation. When it comes to operation, we have implementing processes to manage the identified hazards and risk. If it's a company that deals with hazardous chemicals, those acids, what procedures have they put in place? What processes have they put in place to ensure safe handling of those acids or of those chemicals that they are dealing with? Do they have a procedure or emergency response in case anything happens? This is the procedure that we need to follow when it comes to emergency response, even a fire. If it's an explosion or that has happened, do we have the emergency response plan for that? If it's a spillage that has happened, like oil, do they have emergency response for that? If it's an accident that has happened, do we have a way that we need to handle the accident? Then we have performance evaluation, and this is a very also important aspect. This is at this point you monitor, measure, and analyze how your occupational health and safety performance has been. For you can decide for the past 1 year, for the last quarter, how has it been? You track the effectiveness of the safety measures that you have put together. Are you able to do that? Are you able to track how effective they were? Do you need to improve on a certain thing? So you need to track the effectiveness of the safety measures, the policies that you have put in place, the procedures. We also have, at this point of performance evaluation, are you conducting regular audits to assess that you are complying with what ISO 45001 requires? Those internal audits, when are you conducting them? Is it quarterly? Is it annually? So those are the things that you need to consider when it comes to performance evaluation. If it's the top management, are they doing meetings? Have they come up together and review how the occupational health and safety management system is doing for the organization? Is it effective? Also, is it aligning with the business strategic plan? Is it aligning with how the business is performing? So when it comes to performance evaluation, it's good as an organization to ensure that you do that regularly to see what is going wrong, what is going right, where do we need to improve. So as a company, if it's a company that is doing logistics, you are more into logistics, have you checked if you had several accidents happening at a certain, if it's a month you have accidents happening, have you evaluated, have the accidents reduced? Are employees being trained? If you have decided on monthly training, are the employees attending those training? Are they completing those training? Which areas as an organization can we improve? Then the last clause, which is clause 10, we have improvement. And as I had said, as we started, the standard really focuses on continuous improvement on how at this point the occupational health and safety management system is performing. If it's corrective actions, have you taken action to eliminate the causes of the things that are happening? If it's an accident that has happened for a logistic farm, have you taken an action to eliminate the happening of that accident, or reducing, or you completely ensure the accident has not reoccurred? If it's preventive actions that you have you anticipated potential safety issues, and have you prevented them before they occur? Because the aim is to ensure that you are preventing them before they occur, so that you may reduce those fatal outcomes that come across. If it's a company, these construction companies that we see, maybe there are a lot of employees that are falling from maybe fifth, sixth floor, they are falling. Have you implemented measures to ensure that the appropriate safety measures have been put? Are the employees having the appropriate protective equipment? Have you identified the gaps? Maybe the employees may need additional training on usage of a certain machinery to prevent accident. Have you checked how is the site? Does the site have smoke detectors? Does the site have fire extinguishers? Everything that is needed to ensure that any form of accident has not or reoccurred or occurred. So this is part of improvement, continuous improvement. Whatever you were doing last year, you are continually improving in the new year. So those were the clauses of the standard. We have gone through them, and if you have observed, those clauses follow the plan, do, check, act cycle. Then we have, why do we need ISO 45001? Why is ISO, as an organization, why do we need to implement this standard as an organization? What is the importance? What is it for us as an organization when we implement this standard? Number one, as we have been talking about, even from the clauses, it is to improve the employee safety. ISO 45001, as I have said, it helps organizations identify the hazards that may happen and ensure that you are implementing those controls to prevent those happening. At this point, you are able to improve the wellness of the employee. If it's a factory manufacturing any product, have they installed proper ventilation for in the premises of the factory? The employees have enough PPEs? Have you done risk assessment? Have you provided the employees with masks to reduce exposure to toxic fumes? If it's a company that deals with even things like inks, have you done that? The aim of the standard is to ensure that every employee is safe, every employee is able to go and work without worrying about anything bad that could happen to them in their workplace. Then another important thing is reduction in workplace incidents costs. As an organization, when you have implemented these standards, you will realize that you are able to manage those risks proactively. You are able to reduce injuries. You are able to reduce when it comes to these claims that happens in farms. You find that many people are doing those claims, and it is costing the company when it comes to financial resources. Have you, if it's a construction firm, have you trained the workers on cutting down on fall-related incidents? If it's a construction firm, have you put the right rails when it comes to preventing workers from falling? So the aim of this standard is to ensure that if you are able to reduce the workplace incidents and the costs, so that the company is not being affected negatively, even in terms of finances. Every time you are processing those claims, every time with the insurance, WIBA, are you able to do that? Then we have another important factor is the standard improves the reputation of the company. A company that is known to have better occupational health and safety management, even more people will even be willing to join that company. People will be willing to work if it's stakeholders they are willing to partner with such company. If it's tendering in the tendering part, you will see that people are more inclined to such company because the certification itself is a proof to commitment that as an organization you have improved the well-being of your employee, and this attract even new clients. You get new business as a company, you get new investors. You are able even to attract even high talent when it comes to the employees. If even at this point you will see that even in the current tendering process, a company that is ISO 45001 certified, sorry, is likely to win those tenders if it's even international contracts. We find that those investors, even donors, want to associate themselves to such companies because the company is already credible. It has already proved itself to the outside world that they have strong occupational health and safety procedures going on. Then we have, when you have implemented the standard, you will see that even the morale and the participation of employee has improved. You will see that even workers want to come to work, they are happy to be associated with that organization. Not every time one is in hospital because something has happened. Even the workers themselves, they have even trust. They will even be accountable in even what they are doing. If it's a hazard that they have identified, employees are not scared to report those hazards that they have identified because, as I had said on leadership, those employees have been included in those safety committee meetings by the top management. So the employees are very confident in the way they are doing things. That then the standard also ensures that you stay as an organization, you stay up to date with occupational health and safety regulations. The standard aligns with laws like OSHA, the OSHA that we have. And when you have the standard, you are likely to see that you have already, if you have complied to what the standards require, you will discover that you have already complied to the local OSHA law. And this will help you as an organization avoid any form of fine or even legal issues with the government. And we all know those legal issues are not very good things to be caught up in. If it's a certain company, a manufacturing, whether you are in logistics, you are able to avoid those penalties that come up because you have already conducted those required health checks and you have already maintained those safety records in accordance to the standard. So it's at this point that we have talked about the standard. We have gone through what the standard requires, how are we able to improve the occupational health and safety in an organization, and I'm able to welcome any questions that you may have. Thank you for being part of this webinar. Thank you for listening to what I have presented, and now I welcome any question that you may have.
Thank you, Beatrice, for the presentation. At this junction, now it's the Q&A session where you'll get questions from the participants. So if you have any question, please put it in the chat box and we'll answer it. Any clarification, anything that you want answered on occupational health and safety? Yes, we have a question here from Benjamin. He's asking how do you force or make it important for employees to follow the safety measures, considering that some employees only wear the gloves when they only see the boss, or they pretend to wear gloves when they see the boss coming. Beatrice, will you answer that?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. it's at this point as an organization, you need to have policies and procedures that are in place. When new employees, when you have employed someone, let them be aware of the policies and the procedures that are in place as an organization. This is if you're going to the warehouse or where they need to wear PPEs. They need to know that this is the company policy that as you enter to this specific warehouse, you need to be fully equipped with your PPEs. If you are handling a certain machinery, you need to have the right gloves, the right safety boots. Let them know from the start of employment. If you need to even put signage in, you can see an organization that stores these toxic chemicals, they need to enter in such a place when they are fully equipped in the right PPEs. Let the organization have this culture, and that's what I mentioned in terms of leadership. Let the top management, the people who are in charge, the supervisors, the departmental heads, let them, number one, start by demonstrating the importance of following a certain safety protocol. Let them start by showing an example. Let it not be the employees just doing something because the boss is there, the supervisor is there. Let them understand from the beginning that even when we are entering in a certain place, it is even for my own benefit as an employee. If I use this machinery without the gloves, this machine is going to cut my fingers or my hand. Let them also understand the risk associated with that. You might even lose your hand, you might become even disabled. I'm going to lose fingers. Let the organization culture be in such a way that the employees do it willingly and they are able to have that sense of belonging. This is what we are supposed to do as employees to ensure that we meet the occupational health and safety. If you need some employees, maybe they need training. If it's maybe mostly from what I have seen, the casuals, you may see that maybe the casuals are not quite aware of what they need to do, especially something like a construction site. You see the casuals might not be taking the safety protocols that have been put in place very seriously. If they need a form of training for them to understand, let them be trained, even if the training is happening in the simplest language that they understand. Let it be done, even if it's in the morning when they have come to the site, if it's a construction site. Have even 15 minutes briefing to make them understand that this is what these PPEs are very important. If you do not wear these PPEs, something bad or even an accident is going to happen, and you as an employee, you are the one who's going to be affected.
Thank you for that, Beatrice.
We also have
We
another
also have
question
another
from
question
Tony.
from Tony.
She's asking
She's
the
asking the difference between
ISO
ISO
and
and
OSHA.
OSHA.
All right, thank you, Monani, for that question. When we talk about ISO 45001 2018 and OSHA, for ISO 45000 2018, as I had said, this is an international standard. This is a global standard that has been developed by the organization called ISO, which is the International Organization for Standardization. It's an international standard. But for OSHA, it's a local law. This is the Occupational Safety and Health Act. That is a local law that is in Kenya, which is enforced by the Kenyan government. Then for when it comes to the ISO 45001, it is something that is voluntary. It is not a requirement that you need necessarily like the OSHA, that you need to follow the OSHA regulation. The standard, you sit down and as an organization, you identify the gap and the need to implement the standard. You may see at this point, you can see that your stakeholders, an organization, or even your suppliers, the tender or the donors, or even the investors want you to have that standard. But for OSHA currently, I think it's mandatory for all workplaces in Kenya to have the OSHA in place. And then for the a standard ISO 45001, the main purpose of this standard is to ensure an organization is able to implement a systematic framework when it comes to occupational health and safety. The standard itself is a framework to guide you as an organization to ensure that you are able to implement the safety measures that are required. But for OSHA, you will realize since it's a law, so that is a legal obligation for a company to ensure that there is welfare at the workplace. And for the if you for an organization that has implemented ISO 45001, it's very easy for the same organization to be able to follow what OSHA requires because it's a law, and most of the things that are required by OSHA are already incorporated in the standard. So the standard is just going to give you a framework as an organization to ensure that you meet the OSHA requirements.
Those are very good questions.
Please keep
Please
them
keep
coming.
them coming.
Ask
Ask
anything,
anything concerning safety,
occupational health.
occupational health.
Do not
Do not
hesitate.
hesitate.
You can
You
also
can also unmute your mic.
any other
Any
question
other
before we
question?
proceed to the
Proceed to the
feedback session.
feedback session. Remember, you can also unmute your mic
in case you don't
in
want to
case you
use
don't
the chat box.
want to use the
There's
chat
also the
box. There is also the
option for
option for the any
question.
question from the participants. Okay, okay, okay.
No
There is
question.
no question.
You can proceed
You
to
can
the
proceed to the feedback session. Yes. Okay, okay. Any clarification? Any clarification? Okay, let's proceed to the feedback session. So we have a poll here. Please do not hesitate to answer. We have a poll. Please answer. This poll will help us to improve our webinars for future. I can see no one has answered yet. Please, we need this feedback from you to help us in improving these webinars and to know where to focus on in the next webinars. So please do not hesitate to answer. Be as honest as possible because this is for our own improvement. Okay, okay. Yes. Only 25% have answered. We want it to be 100% and be as honest as possible, please. Please continue answering. We are at 30% of people answered. Please keep on answering. That 7% have answered. We are progressing nicely. 42%. Okay. Then now we can. Thank you for answering the feedback. That's very good. We'll incorporate your feedback into our future webinars. I can see some are already answering before we end. Please do. We'll incorporate this feedback to improve our future offerings, our future webinar offerings. So thank you for that. Okay. So then thank you for the feedback. That was very good. So at this point now we'll allow to give you a brief of Value Max Consulting Limited and the services that we offer. So just give me a moment, I share my slides. Okay. As I said, Value Max, we are an ISO consulting firm. We offer ISO standards for ISO 9001, ISO 14000, 45, also 22000. Just a moment, I share my screen. Just a brief moment as I share my slide. Please do not leave. Please do not leave. Beatrice, you can confirm if you are seeing my slides.
Yes, Victor, I can see the screen.
Is it scrolling?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Then
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So as I said, we are ValueMax Consulting Limited, and we abide by the motto, are your systems delivering your mission? Because we believe that a system is the engine of any success of any good organization. And this is what we believe in. We believe in honesty in our interactions, meaning we deliver what we promise. Then we also believe in fostering long-term business relationships. So because we believe it's a long-term thing, we just not implement and certify the system for to maintain the certification. Excellence in all our pursuits. This is what we do. We champion for new ideas, new systems, new approaches, and also new thinking. And this is where we want to go. This is our vision. We want to deliver organizational excellence in Africa and also outside Africa, and delivering and keeping and delivering promises along the way. And these are some of our services that we offer. The core service that we offer is ISO implementation and certification. That is the quality management system, environmental management, occupational health and safety, information security, food safety, ISO internal audits, documentation, strategic planning, and training in these areas, and also transaction advisory. This is our business approach. We use a five-step approach. We understand your needs. We also agree on the objectives, what you want us to deliver. Then from these objectives, we are able to develop an action plan, of course, an action plan that is tailored for you. Then we implement the plan. We also discuss the findings. Of course, we do evaluate. We learn from and document the new approach. These are some of the clients that we have served in Kenya and also outside Kenya. We also have many clients in diverse sectors. In the government, we have also served hospitals, manufacturing companies, fleet tracking companies, information technology companies, shipping companies. We have also served security companies. We have also served energy companies. As I said, we have also served hospitals. We have also served banks and also payments companies, HR companies. Yeah, so we have served clients in many sectors of in Kenya and also abroad. And we are made up of a passionate team, passionate about business and consulting work. We are disciplined to listen and to serve the clients, and the team is talented. We have extensive ISO standards training in all the standards. We also have local and international training, experience working in other countries in East Africa, Rwanda, Djibouti, Tanzania, Somalia, and also abroad. We have also worked in the United Arab Emirates. Also refined analytical and communication skills so as to be able to serve you diligently. And in case you want to contact us, these are the next steps. We would like to know you, the process, the challenges that you are facing, maybe in your workplace relating to your quality of your services. Then we prepare the proposal, we discuss and agree on a plan, contract. Then we work together after that. And yes, thank you for the opportunity for the webinar and also the opportunity to serve you currently and also in the future. This is our physical location, Nanak House, third floor, room 301, just opposite Kimathi Street, and also www.valuemax.co.ke, and also info@valuemax.co.ke. I'll leave that in the comment section. Yeah, so thank you for everyone who attended the webinar. I hope you all learned from the webinar, and we look forward to serving you in the future. And as I said, we'll incorporate all your feedback for future webinar purposes. So we hold these webinars every month, and we hope to see you in the next webinar. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Stella, Frida, Bansi, Mudoni, everyone who attended the webinar today. We hope you to see in the subsequent webinars. Thank you. So this also to remind you, these PowerPoint slides, they'll be shared to you. They will be sent via email. In case there's a point you want to reference on, it will be shared to your email addresses. So watch out for that. Thank you. See you in the next webinar in the next month. Thank you.